So, lads, today we're going to be talking about the whole DeJounte Carrington situation. And look, it is a very relevant topic because now you have got posts going viral in the general basketball world. And this type of stuff is just a bad look for the league. It is a bad look for the league. It is. This type of stuff is a bad look for the league. And something needs to be done about this because, look, it's one thing. Up until this point, I think quite a few of DeJounte's flagrants and dirty plays, or sorry, not dirty plays, dangerous plays, could be explained off as her getting almost too excited, trying to get a block, and just doing reckless things. Whereas this play cannot be explained off by that. This play cannot be explained off by that. And like, you've got the this is the commentator. This is the commentator.
Whoa!
Like, that is a commentator. Whoa! Reaction. And do you want to know what I think is the scariest part of this? Is the referee saw it and called a common foul. The referee saw it and called a common foul. That is the scariest part about this. And I mean this when I say this. I don't think referees should be fired for making bad calls. I think you shouldn't. Like, at the end of the day, referees are humans. But I think a referee knowingly allowing and turning a blind eye to players putting other players in danger should never be allowed to ref again. And I think this is just like the Kennedy Carter tip check last year. The referees, and this is the worst part of this, they saw it and did nothing about it. Like, you could make the argument they didn't see when she undercut Gabby Williams and rolled Gabby Williams' ankle. When she wound up. And by the way, the flagrant one call against Skylar Diggins was the right call. The Jessica Shepard call was two flagrant ones, by the way. It was two flagrant ones. It was two flagrant ones. She flagrantly won by jumping through her back and then flagrantly won by clawing her in the eye. Like, they were two flagrant ones. And again, I don't hate it being called as a flagrant one, but at the same time, like, it wasn't even called as a flagrant on the floor. They had to go to the monitor. How? It was the most obvious flagrant. They were like, oh, I think they've called a flagrant for her because of the claw. I don't think it's a flagrant her jumping through somebody's back while they're in the air. And then, like, with this whole thing, it's a big problem because now you've got non-WNBA fans. You've got non-WNBA fans that are, like, bringing up a Lexi Hull clip, and they're like, oh, Lexi Hull isn't being called all these names. I'm like, yeah. Because if this was a one-off situation, with DeJounte Carrington, I mean this, if this happened once, everyone would be fine. But then you've got Brick Center, which I understand. Look, it's not like it's anything major, but it's still 150,000 follower, one of those viral NBA pages commenting about it. You've now got normal NBA fans. You have got normal NBA fans, like, talking about DeJounte Carrington. You have got, and by the way, lads, this compilation right here, I'm not joking. Let's look at this. Let's look at this compilation. Let's look at this compilation here of DeJounte Carrington. Claw to the eye, hit to the head, yank pull. And by the way, that's three of her last 5 games. Those 3 have happened in her last 5 games. She also undercut Skylar Diggins in those last 5 games. This is in her last 5 games, those 3 clips. Getting Caitlin Clark in the eye, getting Breanna. These are all in her last 15 games. And by the way, there was the other one, which she didn't connect with the head, but she wound up and took someone out in the air. The flagrant foul that got rescinded was a foul where she took somebody out in the air. And yes, she did not volleyball spike someone's head that time. But wasn't for the lack of trying. And this is the dumbest thing. It's like, you've got all these WNBA people. Like, as soon as y'all realize their competitors are not trying to intentionally injure co-workers, we can enjoy the damn product. Why are we shocked she's cool? It's like, I don't care if she's intentionally trying to injure people. At this age, I don't care. The WNBA should not care. It's the referee's fault as much as anything. She has done things this season that will get her disqualified from MMA fights. She has done things this season that will get her disqualified from MMA fights. This is a bad look for the league. It is a bad look for the league that every game, the referees are turning a blind eye to something that would potentially get them disqualified from an MMA fight. This would have got her disqualified. If she was in the octagon, she would have been disqualified for this. It was a common foul in basketball. We've seen Courtney Vandersloot, and this is not just the Dejanay Carrington thing. The WNBA has a huge problem. Courtney Vandersloot, Paige Bueckers is missing 4 games because she tried to drive by Courtney Vandersloot, and Vandersloot leaned in, clocked her with the shoulder. She shoulder barged her. She leaned in, Paige Bueckers was bending lower, she gets into defense position, she's out of position, and instead of doing what players meant to do and kind of just try to shatter the defender or beat them to a spot, she just gets her with the shoulder. And everyone was like, oh, it's a normal head-to-head play. I was like, is Courtney Vandersloot's shoulder on here? Her shoulder being here. Is this where Courtney Vandersloot's head is? Is this where her head is? Because she was getting beat by Paige. Sorry, it was a left shoulder. She was getting beat by Paige. Paige kind of bends the shoulder. She leans over. Bam. Bam. Paige Bueckers out for 4 games. One of your stars is out for 4 games because she got a concussion from getting a milled in the head. Her coach ignored it. She's lying on the ground. She's allowed play. She's for some reason allowed play. She's going to miss 4 games with a concussion. She is concussed. She is lying on the ground flat, she's lying face first on the ground after getting a shoulder barge to the head. Her own coach doesn't seem to care. The referees don't go to the monitor. And now your 4th biggest star in the league is out for 4 games. And nothing. A common foul. Sarah Ashley Barker. She could have snapped her neck. And again, would she have done it? Did she get injured? No. But she could have snapped her neck. You're acting like this could not have seriously injured her. Dejanay Carrington Dejanay Carrington literally got a flagrant foul rescinded. She got a flagrant foul rescinded where she took somebody out in the air from behind. Yes, she missed. She missed. She was way closer to volleyball spiking someone's head than hitting the ball. She was way closer to hitting the head than the ball. But it got rescinded. She still took someone out in the air from behind. They rescinded her taking. And by the way, I wouldn't have hated if it wasn't called as a flagrant in-game. Because in real time, it didn't look that bad. But the referee saw her take someone out in the air, went to the monitors, was like, this is a dangerous play, it's a flagrant, and they overruled the refs on the monitors. The league the league are putting players in danger. The league does not care about player safety. They don't care about player safety. And by the way, why would Dejanay care about player safety? Why would she care if the league doesn't care? The legal defender, anything negative said about Dejanay Carrington in the media, anything negative, you're going to see a post from the WNBPA saying, we call BS about this thing. Anything negative in the media about Dejanay Carrington, the WNBPA are going to make a post. The WNBPA are going to make a post. And not the fact that she's literally putting other players in the league in danger. The WNBPA is a damn sorority. Let's be real. It's a freaking sorority. If you're either in the crew or they don't care about you. You're either in the crew or they don't care about you. It's as simple as that. You are in the crew or they don't care. You are in the crew. If you are in the WNBPA, we'll do everything to defend you. But if you're not, you could literally have your career ended by a dirty play and someone will call somebody out for that dirty play and that media person will be a problem. How Caitlin Clark was so lucky with how hard she got hit in the eye. She was so lucky. And by the way, I still believe Dejanay Carrington tried to hit Caitlin Clark in the head. I don't believe she tried to hit her in the eye. I think it's too hard in that scenario to aim for somebody's eye. We do not, you can see with Dejanay Carrington, she does not have the greatest body control. She does not have good enough body control to hit someone in the eye. But I do think that she tried to smack Caitlin Clark in the head. The referee, no call. No call. Common foul. No call on the undercut of Gabby Williams. No call on the hit to Sabrina. She is... Again, this is the most positive way of looking at this. The most positive way of looking at this statement is that, she didn't realize she'd grabbed her hair. Even still, 1, in this freeze frame, she can still clearly see where her hand is grabbed. And 2, even in the most positive way of looking at this, she was falling down and tried to take her opponent down with her. Because look, Dejanay falls down with control here, by the way. Dejanay is not out of control on her fall. She is not out of control on her fall. In any way. She can fall peacefully here. She is not out of control on that in any way. Anyone who has fallen knows when you're kind of falling back and you're somewhat in control of your body. And by the way, again, do I think she intentionally grabbed her hair? No. Do I think, if it was my opinion, like, she was falling back, tried to grab onto something, realized it was the hair, and yanked. She went back down faster as soon as she grabbed the hair. Like, come on. Like, at what stage does the WNBA have to step in? Because the WNBA are rescinding technical fouls on a player who should already be suspended. Dejanay Carrington has committed 4 blatant flagrant fouls this year, and 1 that was 50-50 that got rescinded. The referees called them today. I've never seen a 50-50 foul a 50-50 flagrant be rescinded. I've never seen it happen. I have never in my life seen a 50-50 get rescinded. They always say it and they're like, oh, when they go to the monitors, it needs to be obvious. It needs to be clear and obvious. Like, it needs to be clear and obvious. And by the way, if the referees just did their jobs, Dejanay Carrington would have a 1-game suspension, right? If the referee in the league did their jobs, Dejanay Carrington, and not for just this. And by the way, there are sports leagues in the world that, with this replay going out, will give her a 1-game suspension. The NBA is one. If the referees missed it in real time, and something like this started going, not even semi-viral, but like went around the league, and they're like, you know what, it's actually putting a player in danger. It's a 1-game suspension. This one specific thing is a 1-game suspension. But even if we assume that the WNBA, it doesn't give a damn about violence to players, which they don't, even at the best, in the most, like, not even the most favorable opinion of Dejanay Carrington, saying she's not a dirty player, Dejanay Carrington has committed 4 blatant flagrants. 4, like, that's a flagrant 1.5. As in, if it's called flagrant 2, I'm not going to complain, but it's a common foul. It is a flagrant 1.5. Common foul. Dejanay Carrington, I'll say another flagrant 1.5 was the jump through the back followed by the claw. That's a flagrant 1.5. Both of those could have been flagrant 2s. Both of them were minimum flagrant 1s. At least they got the minimum one right. But they called this a common foul. This is a flagrant 1.5. If it's a flagrant 2, if it's a flagrant 2, no issue. Again, if it's a disqualification in the MMA, it should be a disqualification in the WNBA. Just my opinion. If it's a disqualification in MMA, it should be a disqualification in the WNBA. So that's a flagrant 1.5. The flagrant 1 is the right call for the volleyball spike to Diggins' head. So that's it. A flagrant 1 later on, in a couple of minutes later, when she undercut Gabby Williams, except the referees didn't want to eject her. The referees didn't want to eject her for whatever reason. So they just ignored it and didn't even call it a common foul, because they knew if they called it a common foul, they would have had to go to the monitors and eject her. So they just decided, you know what, we're not even going to give her a foul. So that is a flagrant 1. So she has, if we're going to say flagrant 1.5s, giving the referees the benefit of that, what they should have done, realistically, a flagrant 1.5, 2 of them, maybe, if they got the benefit of the doubt, one of them's called flagrant 2, one of them's called flagrant 1. So on the season, Dejanay Carrington, the least favorable outcome of looking at things, she should have 4 flagrant 1s and a flagrant 2, which is a suspension. The least favorable thing of outcome. The most favorable outcome, she should have 4 flagrant 1s. The most favorable way of looking at it. Because there's no argument for Gabby Williams from the referee. She should have 4 flagrant 1s. Somewhere in the middle, she should have somewhere along the lines of maybe 5 flagrant 1s or 4 flagrant 1s and a flagrant 2. That's probably what it should be. Either way, she should have hit the suspension. She should have already hit the suspension for flagrants this season. She should have already hit it. But right now, she's at 2 flagrant 2s. She's not even leading the WNBA in flagrant 2s by herself. I think there's a good few people that have 2. And the fact is, she has 2. Realistically, she should have 5. And then all these, like, brain dead pretend basketball fans being like, you really think the Stanford graduate is this? And I was like, I don't care what degree you have from Stanford. She got into a Twitter beef with Dr. Philip Oliver Holes and started blaming Indiana Fever fans for it. I don't give a damn what degree you have. Fair play getting a Stanford degree. It is impressive getting into Stanford. You balled. Like, you're in the WNBA. She's actually playing pretty well this year. But, like, I don't know the way it is in America, but in Ireland, if you get a degree from Trinity College, which is the freaking top university in Ireland, or you get a degree from the lowest university in Ireland, it's the exact same college course things covered. So it's in fact easier to get a higher grade in freaking Trinity than it is anywhere else in the country, because they need to have high grades. Whereas in other colleges, you, like, if you get freaking 60% in some colleges, Like, there's literally dudes that come over exchange students to my college that average in the 80s in America and get 30s here. But, like, I don't know. And again, I don't care what college degree you have. I don't care what college degree you have. Like, having a Stanford degree does not mean that you get away with doing this. And by the way, being on the WNBPA is probably a big reason why you do get away with it. I mean that. It is probably a big reason why you do get away with it. And why nothing can happen to Dijonais. Because they are literally above the law. They're above the law. That's all I'm going to say. They are the WNBPA players. They are above the law. That's an opinion. That is an opinion. That is not a fact. Obviously, that is not a fact. I need to say that is not a fact. But from everything we've seen, the players that are heavily involved in the WNBPA are above the law when it comes to this league.